For this problem, we're going to be graphing this system of linear inequalities. Y is bigger than 5x minus 10, and y is less than negative x plus 4. The first thing to do is start with your first inequality, y is bigger than 5x minus 10, and graph this one from beginning to end. Let me fix my 10. So the first thing to do when we're graphing that is to graph y equals 5x minus 10. This line is frequently called our boundary line. So it's in y equals mx plus b form, or slope-intercept form, and we're going to start at our y-intercept down here, which is negative 10. Now from there, the slope is 5, or 5 over 1, so we're going to travel up 5 units. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 would put us up here at negative 5, and over to the right 1 unit, which would put us about there, and connect those two dots. Okay. Now the second thing to do is to figure out whether we need a dashed or solid line. So in this case, since we have a strict inequality, we have just a greater than with no equals to, we're going to put a dashed line. So I'm going to get out my eraser here, and I'm going to turn my line into a dashed line. Okay. Now the third thing to do is to do our shading. So for the third step, when we do our shading, I usually pick the point 0, 0 as long as the point 0, 0 is not on the line. And sure enough, here's 0, 0 here. It's not on our line, so it's perfectly okay for us to select that point. So when we plug in 0, 0, we're going to have 0 is bigger than 0 minus 10, or 0 is bigger than negative 10. And this statement is true. Remember, when you're shading, you always shade the true side. So since 0, 0 is up here and it's true, we'll be shading over the top of that side right there. Okay. Now, the second thing that we're going to do is we're going to take our next inequality, y is less than negative x plus 4, and we're going to graph this from beginning to end. So start with y equals negative x plus 4. So let's see, that would be up now 4 units, so 1, 2, 3, 4 would put us here. And then we're going to go, our slope is negative 1 over 1, so we're going to go down 1 and over 1, which would put us about there. And then connect those two dots. Okay. Now, the second thing to do with this line is to figure out if it's dashed or solid. Well, again, since we have a strict inequality here and no equals to sign underneath, we need to make this a dashed line also. So I'm going to get out my eraser and turn this into, as best I can, a dashed line. And then the third thing to do is to do our shading. And once again, I love 0, 0. 0, 0 is clearly not on that red dashed line. So we're going to plug 0, 0 in again. And we have 0 is less than 0 plus 4, or 0 is less than 4. And that statement is also true. So I'll put a little red true here. Again, remember, you're shading wherever the true side is. So that's on the same side that we were going to shade for 0, 0. So I'm going to shade in red here. Okay, now technically we're finished, but this is a bit of a mess right here. So what you need to remember is that your answer is wherever we have a double shaded area. So if you're entering this into your My Math Lab, you want to erase every single part that is not double shaded and only shade in the double shaded part for your answer. So I'm going to get my eraser for this line and I'm going to erase the shading. There I only have red shading, a little bit up here, a little bit down here, and then the shading where I only have blue shading. So this line, this shading, and up here. And there's my answer.
Made with Doodlecast Pro.